You are lying in your bed, and the room is pitch black. You put on your headphones, but instead of playing calming music or white noise, you listen to a voice describing, with surgical precision, a gruesome murder scene and the complex puzzle of a serial killer. Logic dictates that your heart rate should spike. Your survival instincts should be screaming at you to run from the danger. But what actually happens is the exact opposite. Your muscles relax. Your breathing becomes slower and more rhythmic. You are using humanity's worst nightmares and our most violent history as a lullaby to drift into a deep sleep. You are not a psychopath, and you have not lost your sense of empathy. You are simply experiencing one of the most complex psychological paradoxes in the human mind. To understand this dark secret, we have to look inside your brain the exact second you hear the details of a crime. When the narrator describes a hidden weapon, a tiny threat detector deep inside your brain, called the amygdala, instantly lights up. It prepares to flood your body with stress hormones. But a fraction of a second later, your logical prefrontal cortex steps in. It sends a powerful override signal, reminding your nervous system that you are safe beneath your blankets. The doors are locked, and the monster is trapped in the past. Many neuroscientists suspect this biological override may help transform raw terror into a rewarding experience involving dopamine. It mirrors the psychology behind towering roller coasters. Your brain experiences the intense thrill of a deadly drop, while the metal safety bar reminds your logical mind that you will survive. You get to experience the biological rush of the hunt without ever actually being the prey. But why would human biology reward us for listening to stories about death? To answer that, we must rewind 50,000 years to the open plains where our ancestors lived in small, vulnerable tribes. Imagine one morning, a hunter from your tribe is found killed near the edge of a dark forest. The tribe members, who simply ignore the tragedy and go right back to picking fruit, do not live very long. They walk straight into the same traps. But the individuals who become absolutely obsessed with the event are the ones who survive. They study the shape of the wounds, they track the footprints in the mud, and they analyze the time of day the attack happened. Evolutionary psychologists often propose that our modern true crime obsession might just be a high-tech version of this ancient survival tactic. As you consume these dark stories, your brain appears to be quietly taking aggressive notes, running a virtual simulation of a threat to ensure you are prepared for it in the real world. This brings us to a much deeper and more uncomfortable layer of human psychology. The famous psychiatrist Carl Jung introduced the concept of the shadow. He believed the shadow represents all the dark, repressed desires, rage, and destructive impulses that society forces us to bury. To function as a polite and normal citizen, you must hide your shadow completely. When you listen to a true crime documentary, you are not cheering for the killer. Instead, you are safely staring into the abyss of human potential. You are confronting the terrifying reality that normal-looking people, under the right circumstances, might be capable of absolute atrocities. It is an unconscious way of exploring the darkest edges of humanity without ever getting your own hands dirty. This survival instinct points toward a fascinating and unexpected statistical reality. Several audience studies consistently show that women make up the majority of true crime consumers. Many criminal psychologists suggest this is not a marketing coincidence, but rather a deeply rooted defensive strategy. Historically and biologically, women have faced a higher physical risk from human predators. For a woman, a documentary about an unsolved mystery is rarely just entertainment. It often functions as an unconscious survival guide. Think about a woman walking to her vehicle in a dimly lit parking garage, or speaking to a stranger who seems just a little too charming. Researchers theorize that by consuming true crime, The female brain might be actively building a mental map of red flags. She is studying the manipulative tactics attackers use, learning how victims were lured away, and training her intuition to recognize danger before it strikes. It acts as a form of tactical empathy, a mental rehearsal for the worst possible scenarios so they can be avoided entirely. As the story of the crime continues to unfold in your headphones, another powerful psychological concept comes into play, often referred to as the illusion of control. Real life is terrifyingly chaotic. Tragedies happen to good people every single day for no logical reason. Accidents, sudden illnesses, and random violence remind us how incredibly fragile our existence is. The human mind hates this randomness. It desperately craves patterns and order. True crime takes that terrifying chaos of reality and forces it into a predictable structure. There is a crime. There is a detective collecting clues. There is a puzzle to be solved. Consider how investigators spent decades piecing together tiny fragments of genetic evidence to finally capture the notorious Golden State Killer. Psychologists observe that watching a detective slowly organize scattered evidence from a cold case gives the human mind a profound psychological anchor. It tricks your brain into believing that the world makes sense. It reinforces the comforting idea that every puzzle has a solution, and that monsters can always be captured if we just look hard enough. This framework perfectly explains the bizarre phenomenon of falling asleep to tales of murder. When you lie awake stressing about your financial future, a difficult conversation at work, or a failing relationship, your mind spins in an endless loop. Personal problems often have no clear ending and no immediate solution. This keeps your nervous system in a state of high alert, making sleep completely impossible. But when you suddenly shift your focus to a highly complex external problem, like a decades-old murder investigation, you force your brain to stop overthinking your own life. You transfer your personal anxiety onto a story that has a definitive conclusion. Once the killer is revealed and the puzzle is solved, your brain registers a powerful sense of closure. The perceived threat is neutralized, your nervous system finally powers down, and you slip into a peaceful sleep. However, researchers warn that this brilliant biological coping mechanism has a hidden danger. The digital age has mapped our evolutionary weaknesses and weaponized them against us. Streaming platforms and algorithms know that your brain cannot ignore a threat. Because of this, they now manufacture trauma on an industrial scale. When you continuously expose yourself to stories of betrayal, murder, and deception, you begin to slowly rewire your baseline perception of reality. Sociologists refer to this condition as mean world syndrome. It is a cognitive bias where your brain becomes convinced that the world is significantly more dangerous, violent, and deceitful than statistical reality proves it to be. You might start checking the locks on your doors 3 or 4 times every night. You might begin looking at your friendly neighbors with persistent suspicion. You might lose your inherent trust in strangers entirely. The very same survival mechanism that evolved to keep you safe slowly transforms your mind into a prison of paranoia. We eventually reach the ultimate truth that we all try to avoid. We do not gravitate toward true crime because we are in love with death. We do it because we are creatures absolutely terrified of our own extinction. We study the darkness so obsessively because we are desperately trying to tame the fear it causes us. You are not strange for wanting to know the details of a tragedy. You are simply a complex human being, running on ancient survival codes, navigating a world that often feels entirely out of your control. We look at the monsters to ensure we are not one of them, and to learn exactly how to defeat them. If exploring the hidden architecture of your own mind has shifted the way you see your daily habits, please support Mentra by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Make sure to turn on your notifications so you never miss our future thought experiments. We want to hear from you in the comments below. Have you ever noticed these ancient survival instincts waking up inside you while watching a mystery unfold? The world we live in is filled with hidden truths, and we will continue to uncover them together in the next video.